Today we're going to be doing a review of the La Spaziale Mini Vivaldi 2. This review was provided by Espresso Outlet. They sent me this machine at no cost in order to give my honest opinion about the machine. So before we dive into that, I just want to say welcome to Cabine's Coffee Corner. This channel is designed to help you choose the gear you want to brew with at home. I do a lot of comparisons and reviews here on the channel, so please subscribe and like this video to really help me produce more content for others to see and to help me answer the questions of what gear you should brew with at home. I also have an Instagram page. You're more than welcome to follow me there. I also have a Patreon account. If you support me on Patreon, you get a chance to win free gear that I review here on the channel. I go through a lot of different equipment, and I don't like to hang on to all these different things and fill up my house with it. So my goal is to just basically send off all this gear to Patreon, so that you're more than welcome to support me on Patreon for a chance to win free gear. So again, this is provided by Espresso Outlet for a review and a couple videos. So basically they send me the machine free of charge, I review it, and they sell it as an open box item. So stay tuned to Espresso Outlet, because occasionally those come through as an open box item, and they're pretty good discounts. This machine costs $2,100, and I think they're going to sell it for $1,700, the one that I used for about a month. So pretty good deal, and if you're looking to save a little bit of money, that's a great way to do it. So check out Espresso Outlet. And again, completely unbiased review. I'm allowed to say whatever I want, and I publish these videos before Espresso Outlet ever sees them. So I'm going to tell you the good things and the bad things about this machine and give you an honest opinion. So let's get into a couple of the features here. We have a 53mm portafilter. It comes with the double spout and the single spout. This is the double spout here. A commercial grade is 58. We're going to get a little bit more into that. We have steam wand lever here. We have a huge drip tray. We have the water tank. We have hot water tap. Hot water tap. We have two gauges here. We have one with the pressure of basically making coffee, so a pressure gauge when you pull a shot of espresso, and we have the steam pressure there. We have two cup buttons, so we have one for single, we have one for double, and this basically turns on and off the boiler. And then you have your on and off button. This plugs in with a European cord. However, that does come with an adapter for the US, because this is made, I believe, in Italy. You can change the temperature of the water inside the machine right over here too, so there's a nice couple little features there. It's a pretty hefty machine. It weighs in at 62 pounds. Sounds like it's about to get in a fight, but pretty hefty and big machine. You can get it in black panels, red panels, and wood panels. There's a lot of different options of that. So we're going to start off with a couple of things that I love about this machine. The first one is the fact that this is a lever instead of a knob. Most machines come with a lever, or most machines come with a knob and you have to turn it. This is just way quicker and easier. And easy to do with it. I love the fact that you can change the temperature here, and that it gives you all the pressure here. So it allows you to know when your boiler is up to temp, so you can steam. It allows you to know when you have to wait again before you need to steam, and it allows you to know that you're getting the right pressure when you're pulling a shot of espresso. That's the vibratory pump that you can hear as it's turning on and pumping some more water into the machine. The drip tray is a rather large capacity, which is phenomenal. I found that when I do a lot of back-to-back drinks, I don't have to empty this very, very often, and it's just huge. It feels great. This has a different feature that a lot of machines don't have, which is called the volumetric dosing. And basically what that means is when you can basically set the amount of liquid you want to come out of the machine, which means you don't have to weigh your shot and stop the shot every single time. It does that automatically for you. However, you can still stop your shot manually if you want to. So basically all you need to do is you can adjust the settings on this, is you can set up the one cup per se to go for like 90 seconds or something ridiculous like that. So when you pull a shot, you can stop it exactly when you want to, and have that control for you, and it'll never stop. And then you could set up the 2 group button to stop at about roughly 36 grams if you're doing 18 to 36 out. So that's a nice little feature that you can just do so you don't have to constantly be putting a scale underneath of here. One of the things that I found, I just did the Rocket Apartamento, and one of the things I found when you're pulling shots and you're steaming and all of this different things, especially when you're doing like 6 shots back to back, say you have a group of people over at your house, one of the hard things is you're watching the shot as it flows, and you're making sure you stop that shot while you're steaming milk, and it's just a lot to keep your mind going while you make coffee for others, and it's a lot of easy things that you can miss, like, oh, you're steaming, your milk's not heated up, you forget to flip the lever down for the espresso as you're brewing it so it actually goes longer. With a machine like this, you can steam and it'll just stop your shot of espresso when you want and you're ready to go to add that milk. So when I was pulling shots for a group of people over the holidays, as I had people over, it was a lot quicker and easier than the Rocket Apartamento because I didn't have to pay attention as much. I just used my one scale to do my dosing, all of that stuff, and I would pull the shot, no scale underneath of it, and steam the milk, and the shot would stop when it's done, and I was ready to go and move on to the next one. So it was a very, very great workflow in the terms of that. I'm going to go ahead and pull a shot real quick for you and show you some of the things I don't like right off the bat. This is a 53 millimeter portafilter. This is not a big deal for a lot of people. It doesn't ruin your shot quality. It still produces really, really good shots of espresso, so there's nothing to worry about there. But the problem that I have is literally, for me, having a lot of different machines. All of my tampers, all of my bottomless portafilters, all of my funnels, everything that I have is meant for a 58 millimeter portafilter. Therefore, none of my accessories work with this machine. So right now I have the Stag X pour over funnel that I just sit on top of it. This is the dosing cup from the Turin. So this is grind from the DF64 Turin. You can check that out on Espresso Outlet. It's a phenomenal grinder for the price point. And basically what I do is I pull it up and hope that I don't spill any grounds here because it doesn't fit perfectly, but it at least gets the job. I'll level this out. So I noticed with this, my coffee making isn't as, I'm a little more careless with this machine because I don't have the ability to use all the tools that I have. This is the tamper that is included, which is very disappointing. It's a plastic tamper, and I have to tamp like 4 times around the edges to get it flat and even, which is a very difficult thing to do because this doesn't fit the portafilter perfectly. For a machine that's $2,100, they should have fixed that, and that should have been included with some kind of better fitting metal tamper. Would have been great. You can still buy these accessories. They're not as wide as 58, but if you're buying this for the first time, it's not going to be a big deal to find accessories for this. It's going to be doable. It's just not going to be as much as the 58. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flush the group head real quick. I'm doing this everything backwards on this, so give me a little bit of grace as I attempt to put this in. Am I doing this right? There we go. Maybe. So I'm going to lock that in. This is the Crew espresso cup here, so you can see that flow. And I did notice if you put a scale in here and you don't have a bottomless portafilter, you're lacking on a lot of room here. As you can see, that's going into the cup, and that's with any latte cup, anything like that. Not a big deal because you can still typically fit around it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that 2 group that I already set up to volumetric dose for me in the way that I like, and we'll go ahead and watch it brew. Getting there. Hopefully I didn't grind too fine or anything like that. It's coming through. Maybe a little bit fine. But once you get this set up to the way you like into your beans, it works pretty well. It's one of those things, this machine is really nice in the morning. It takes away the thought process of making espresso. I've done a lot of manual espressos like the flare, and when I pull with the flare, I have to make sure my dose is right, the time is right, all this stuff, and it's I feel like I can make a good shot with this, and it takes away all of the thought processes and all the steps with it. So it looks like that might have been a little short. I did recently change the beans on there, but overall, it produces a really well-balanced shot of espresso that I'm quite happy with. Again, that's definitely a little short. I just need to change the volumetric dose because I switched from a Colombian bean to an Ethiopian bean here recently, so that's the reason for that. One of the things I noticed is I've never used a 4-hole steam wand. So basically what that means is at the bottom of the steam wand there are 4 holes in the steam wand tip, which just basically changes the way you steam a little bit. It's just something that you have to get used to, especially when you're going from a 2 or 3 hole or 1 hole steam wand tip for that matter. It does do plenty well for latte art, but I had a huge problem of getting the right microphone just because I wasn't used to it, not because it was bad. Again, super nice and super quick to turn on and off the steam power. It steams super quick, which is great. However, I do note that it's really hard to remember to pay attention to this gauge here on the bottom, because what happens is if the boiler starts filling up on the steam wand, you're going to have a problem and you're not going to have enough steam to make it through steaming a latte or something like that. So I did have some problems where I just didn't have enough steam to make a shot of, or enough steam to steam milk for a latte. The more you use the machine, the more you'll get used to that. I don't think it's very problematic. I wish that was a little bit bigger on that. I did notice that this is a very hot steam wand, so even this feels pretty hot and you don't want to hold it very long. But if you're making milk for a macchiato or a cortado and you have a little milk in a jug, it is very hard to get the steam wand all the way to the bottom of the jug in order to steam milk. In that, I feel like I have to add more milk and waste more milk in order to steam for smaller drinks, and that's with the smallest pitcher I have that I've been using for years. So that's kind of problematic for me. I think one of the things about this, when I think of this machine, the first one that comes to my mind that's close to it is the Breville Barista Express. That one's coming in about $700, so you're looking at $1,300 in difference for the price on it. The Breville has, I think, a 54 millimeter portafilter, so you're getting about the same there. It's got the volumetric dosing. It's got the hot water tap here. It's got steam. It's got all of that stuff, and it has a built-in grinder, but you're paying $1,300 less. So the question is, why would you spend so much more to get this machine rather than that? And I simply think because it's because of the speed. Like when you steam milk on this thing, I feel like you could probably get it done in like 10 seconds. When you look at the Breville, it's going to take more like a minute to steam milk for that. You'll still be able to pull good shots and make microphone on this, but on the Breville, but I feel like this one just does it faster and better. This one you can steam and brew at the same time because it has 2 separate boilers running it. I feel like the temperature stability on this machine is very incredible. It was better than the Rocket that I tested out a couple weeks ago. Overall, I think this machine is great, but it does have its quirks. Like, I'm not a fan of the 58 millimeter portafilter because of the gear that I have and because of the stuff I have is not compatible with this machine. I am disappointed that you have to go out and spend some more money on a tamper right off the bat. I love this knob. I don't like how they put the water tank here, which basically means you have to pull out the drip tray and then try not to spill all the liquid that's in the drip tray, and then you have to pull out this water tank and refill it out. And it just does not look great, in my opinion, having that. They should have made the front of this stainless steel to match the back, or to match the rest of the machine. I think it would have looked a little bit better. However, the water tank is huge, and the drip tray is huge, so I don't feel like I need to be filling it up as much. One of the things that I typically do with all my other machines that have a water tank up here is I check it pretty frequently. And because I check it pretty frequently, it never runs out of water. This one has a nice indicator saying that you're low on water and you need to replace it, so I don't feel the need to check it, which is a huge benefit for this machine. Overall, so basically, if you're an espresso enthusiast, and that's the bulk of what you drink is straight shots of espresso, I would steer away from this machine. And the main reason I would steer away from this machine is for the fact of that you don't get a 58 millimeter portafilter. And simply because if you're super into like just shots of espresso, you're going to want tools and gadgets and things like that, and your options are going to be more if you go 58 millimeter portafilter. Otherwise, if you're into small milk drinks, this isn't the machine for you because of the way that the steam wand is. If you're into bigger drinks, if you're into quickness, if you're into convenience, this is a very good machine. It steams large milk drinks well. The steam wand works well for it. It brews quickly without thinking with the volumetric dosing, which is a very, very nice feature on a machine that you don't get on a lot of machines out there. Everything is a manual lever typically. Manual lever, not like lever like the flare. So yeah, larger milk drinks, quickness. This thing heats up in like 10 to 15 minutes for full steam and everything. Yes, you'll get a little bit better results at 30, like most machines, but the fact that you can use a dual boiler and it heats up that quickly is phenomenal. This thing feels incredibly well built. It's sturdy. It's not going anywhere on your counter. One of the things that, as I've noticed with most machines, is it looks really great from all angles, but you never see that back angle. So I want to flip this around for you. And like I said, this is incredibly heavy, but I feel like there is just a lot to show on the back of this. There's a little bit of spots here, but I just feel like this looks great. Like if it was sitting on this counter, you're pulling your shots here and just being able to see all around this. I love any machine that doesn't have stainless steel sides. I think that's a huge win for a machine because of the fact that stainless steel is just harder to keep clean, or chrome or whatever this finish is. It's harder to keep clean. It's more prone to water spots to see on there. You can see it on the cup tray and all that stuff. So anything that has like this contract of black or wood, I'm a huge big fan of. But yeah, so this machine I think is for a lot of people. I think it's going to last a long time. This came out in 2012. They've made a couple of revisions to it since then, but people are still using their 2012 ones perfectly fine without a hiccup. So this thing is going to last you a while. It's built well. It's got good features that you don't get, like the knob and the volumetric systems, but you are missing out on the 58 millimeter portafilter, which doesn't affect the quality, in my opinion, that much, but it does affect all of the third-party accessories that you can buy for it. So my only feedback to this company for making this machine is make a better tamper. If you made a better tamper that was stainless steel or some kind of metal that fit the portafilter, well, you'd have a better machine. Because the first thing, I don't want to have to buy and spend $2,100 on a machine, and the first thing I have to do is go out and spend another X amount of money on a tamper. That should be included with the machine, one that's good enough to make shots of espresso. And yes, that's good enough, but like one that's going to be decent that I don't feel like I need to upgrade pretty quickly. Yes, there's always going to be better tampers out there and better things, but I shouldn't have to be thinking like, man, I really need a new tamper. And with this tamper, I really need a new tamper. That was one of the most frustrating things over the past month of using this machine, is the fact I couldn't use my 58 millimeter accessories, and I needed a tamper. Keep in mind, things like the Niche Zero, the DF Turn, they all come up with these 58 millimeter things that fit the portafilter perfectly fine for these dosing cups. You can get those switched. You can buy third-party catch cups for like the Niche Zero that would fit this and be a lot easier to use. You can buy funnels, you can buy all the stuff that you need for it. It's just going to be less options than a 58, but still good. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions on this machine, please let me know. I would love to help you answer those questions. Again, it's a good machine. It's for a lot of people. I could see a lot of benefit to this. It's a great machine for hosting people, for pulling shots back to back and making milk drinks back to back with the dual boilers. But it's not a great machine for me. And that's just because of the machines that I prefer. Nothing wrong with this machine, but I think it very well could be a good machine for you. So thank you so much for watching, and again, please like and subscribe.